For 220 million years, turtles lived without problems until people intervened into their lives. These centenarians could be called champions of survival, if not for a sharp decline in their population. Many species are destroyed due to overfishing by sailors. About 10 million Galapagos tortoises were destroyed in the Galapagos Islands alone during the 17th and 18th centuries. On the Réunion Island, they fed pigs, and in the USSR, more than 100,000 Central Asian tortoises annually fed fur animals. But the situation is changing. Volunteers are actively saving turtles from extinction. Rescue from shells. It turns out that not only turtles love to eat shellfish, shells also eat them. A total of 29 potential dangerous shells were found on the shells of turtles. But shells not only bite into the shell and eat it, but also increase the surface resistance and reduce the overall hydrodynamic shape of the turtle. Volunteers have to catch the turtle affected by shells and clean the shell with the help of improvised tools. But not only volunteers save turtles from this scourge. Australian Dean Crubb, who was riding on a paddleboard in Manly Beach in Sydney, noticed a turtle covered with a thick layer of shells and algae. The man took the turtle to a herpetologist. After examination, the specialist confirmed Dean's suspicion. The turtle was greatly weakened due to such an outgrowth on the shell, and which made it not be able to hunt normally. Off the coast of Tasmania, a fisherman caught a 200-pound specimen, which became a real haven for a whole colony of various shells, slowly eating their carrier. The turtle was successfully cleared of parasites and released back home. Rescue from plastic. About 8 million tons of plastic are thrown into the ocean annually. According to scientists, 71% of birds and 50% of turtles suffer from the presence of plastic in the body. And off the coast of Brazil, almost 90% of turtles ingest products made from this dangerous material. 246 sea turtles washed ashore in the Australian Queensland and were examined by a herpetologist. According to them, about 200 of them swallowed pieces of plastic which led to their death. 14 to 15 fragments increased the probability by 50%. One piece of plastic killed about 22% of turtles. Small turtles often swallow plastic bags, mistaking them for a delicious jellyfish. The young ones are not so selective in food and drifting with ocean currents, encounter a large concentration of garbage. Not so long ago, in a reserve near Costa Rica, a team of researchers from the olive ridley sea turtles population noticed an animal with a plastic fork sticking out of its nose. Researchers saved the tortoise from the torturing object. Biologist Nathan Robinson in the same year discovered another olive turtle with a plastic tube in its nose. And off the coast of Spain, a photographer noticed a turtle entangled in an old plastic fishing net. The turtle struggled to stay alive and to stay in the water, and if the photographer had not arrived in time and released the captive, it would have surely died. Rescue from coins. The resonant case in the Thai Zoo just blew the public's mind. A large sea green turtle lived here for a long time, but one day workers noticed that the 25-year-old turtle was swimming with a roll on its right side. She later had breathing and feeding problems. After examination, specialists suspected bowel obstruction, and after an x-ray was done, it confirmed the presence of foreign bodies in the stomach. What came as a surprise to the herpetologist was when, during a 4-hour operation, 915 coins with a total weight of 11 pounds were found in the body of the turtle. How did this number of coins turn out to be in the animal's stomach? Remember the sign, "Toss a coin into the water to return to this place"? And who does not want to return to warm, beautiful Thailand? Well, because of this, local residents would throw money in the reservoir with the turtles, counting on longevity. But here, this unfortunate turtle swallowed all these coins for all these years. So this turtle was suffering because of this long-standing tradition. So be careful where you're throwing your coins and be sure that turtles or other animals are not living here. Rescue from ticks. Surprisingly, these bloodsuckers are addicted to delicious turtles. These vampires are very fond of crawling into the folds of skin at the base of the tail and do not disdain the neck. Ticks also cling to the corners of the eyes and around the mouth. Mostly animals suffer from exotic ticks. While the adult parasite penetrates deeply, since the skin of the turtle is rather thin. These mites are found only in freshwater species of turtles, but these vampires not only drink blood, they are also carriers of parasites. In places of large accumulation of ticks, ulcerative dermatitis often develops, and if the parasite is accidentally separated without proboscis, an abscess may form. These bloodsuckers also cause irritation of the mucosa and sometimes even anemia. But not only wildlife advocates help turtles get rid of ticks, flocks of small passerines often curl around turtles. These insectivores eat ticks with pleasure. Unfortunately, turtles also suffer from fishing hooks. Animals swallow them both with fish and instead of fish. For example, Texas resident Bob Hall decided to go fishing near Padre Island, but failed to go fishing. A huge sea turtle swallowed the hook along with the bait. Transporting a heavy turtle on its own was problematic, and Bob contacted the Marine Animal Rescue Service. The animal turned out to be a male and was given the name Captain. After inspection, a hook was found in the esophagus. Specialists removed the foreign body, and after rehabilitation, the animal was released into the wild. Another case occurred in Florida. Here at the Orlando Marine Center, a 100-pound tortoise had to be helped because a huge hook was stuck in its jaw and needed to be removed. According to veterinarians, the hooks of the traditional J-shape can only be removed by operating on the animal, because by themselves they will not be able to be removed but only dig deeper into the tissue. Unfortunately, these are not isolated cases. Volunteers and herpetologists convincingly ask people to use hooks of a different shape and do not throw out the remnants of a fishing line with hooks in place where turtles live. Rescue from fishing nets. About 640,000 tons of fishing nets are thrown out or lost annually in the ocean. Just think about that number. Indeed, in these networks, a huge number of fish and animals continue to get confused and die. Australian rangers have studied the most dangerous places of accumulation of such waste, and these are in the areas of Asia and Australia. The most acute problem was in the Gulf of Carpentaria. Here, the highest density of such garbage is registered. Activists staged a cleaning of the bay from the nets. It was found that 80% of the animals found in the nets were turtles. In Australia, 6 of the 7 endangered species of turtles found their home, and about 8,000 leatherback sea turtles stay on the beaches of Trinidad Island to lay eggs, which is a big problem for fishermen and a danger to animals. The season of their nesting coincides with the period when the networks are put on mackerel. 1,000-pound turtles often get caught in their net, and fishermen have to cut them loose. Workers on the National Marine Fisheries Service have tested the new nets, but despite all the effects off the coast of Trinidad, about 1,000 turtles die annually. Rescue from hurricanes. It turns out in Florida, the baby turtles are hatching just in time for hurricane season. Of course, tortoises from birth are endowed with enough power to make their first trip to the feeding place, and their first food is algae growing far in the ocean. The most helpless babies die from loss of strength. They simply are not able to deal with the raging waves repeatedly throwing them ashore. In addition, turtles, exhausted by such a struggle, are not able to escape from land predators. Volunteers collect the unfortunate ones on the coast, inspect for injuries, and place them in calm water. The young ones gain strength within 12 to 24 hours. After that, they are transported by boat and released into the natural habitat. Rescue egg clutches. The turtle, depending on the species, lays anywhere from 80 to 200 eggs, and it is nothing for nature to take its course on such quantities. According to statistics, only about 10% of turtles survive. Everyone loves to enjoy eggs. Of course, the worst nest destroyer is man himself. Turtle eggs are not only an exotic delicacy, but their healing properties have been known for a long time. In addition, in many countries of the world, they are considered the strongest aphrodisiac. Next, there are dogs. They gather in packs on the beaches when eggs are laid, and they do not mind eating eggs of raccoons, snakes, or even jaguars. Only hatched youngsters in the afternoon attracts common buzzards, and if the baby happens to fall into the water, there are crabs and other large predatory-type fish awaiting them. To increase the population of turtles, in almost all areas where nesting takes place, centers have been set up where workers collect eggs, carry them to a safe incubator, and when the young grow, they are released into free swimming water. And finally, a unique case of rescue of sea turtles. During raids in the Pacific Ocean, patrolmen noticed an incomprehensible floating object. When approaching it, it turned out to be packets of cocaine connected by ropes and floating on the water. In these ropes, a poor tortoise was entangled. It was not known how long this tortoise had been fighting, but the turtle was clearly exhausted. The employees freed the poor animal and fished the drugs out of the water. The smugglers likely dropped their load during their getaway. And that's all for today. Write in the comments what you think about saving marine animals from plastic debris polluting the oceans. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.